this. I know you like to read a lot of stuff, Alistair. You like to keep up to date. I wonder if you keep track of how many cameras end up in the Hudson River, but that's another story we'll have to talk about one day. It is fascinating. It is fascinating. You know, what's happening, Alistair, is Sony has discontinued CCD sensors, so whatever's out there is out there, and that's it. And now companies seize the benefit of getting into the CMOS instead of. I always said I didn't like CMOS. Very true. Until I found two of them that actually is worth investing the money to design a camera, to design the electronics, implement these electronics into camera for astronomical use, such as the DS2.3 Plus and the DS16c, which you're seeing here tonight. This technology is well worth it. And now we get to have sensitivity that not only rivals CCD, but it's even lower noise. This is well made. These are not cheap type of sensors. Compared to CCD, they're a lot lower cost. One of the major advantages of the CMOS is they're low cost to produce. I still like CCDs. There's no question about it, but they do have their flaws. Like a CMOS or a crappy CMOS, they are going to have their flaws. Nothing's perfect when it comes to that. However, we've got the power of the software to correct for those. We've got the power of advanced electronics inside of well-designed cameras where we get to deal with these issues that both type of sensors will have. That includes CCDs, charge coupled device, or the CMOS. Okay, just a sec. I'm going to try to do a little something here. Hopefully I can do it. I'm going to try to zoom in where NGC 6207 is located. To the lower right, there you go. You got N13 upper left, and lower right, you have NGC 6207 in the same field of view. I saw this here on my monitor, 2.5 seconds. We saw that 5 seconds earlier, exposure. I'll repeat, 2-second exposures, 5-second exposures, and now this is 10-second exposures. Meaning, we are seeing more than what the CCD would. Take a look at this. This is, you really got to rinse your eye on this one. There's also an IC galaxy in there that is very, very, very faint. On my monitor, I see it. It's a little bit hard to describe where it is, but there is one. But the bottom line is this. Because of CMOS are coming out, not all of them, just a handful of them, and I'm talking about a handful. One handful, or you could count them on your fingers and you'll have a lot of fingers left. Only a handful of them will actually be able to perform as good, if not better, than a CCD. This is the new age. This is the new technology, and this is what MallinCam will be focusing from now on. That way, we won't hear somebody on Cloudy Night say, oh, it's old technology. Oh, it's old stuff. Oh, it's old this. But yeah, that's what they're pushing. Okay, granted, they still don't know what they're talking about because they don't know about this technology. They're not involved in it. They don't work at our shop. They don't work in our labs. They don't work anywhere. They sit at home, change diapers on someone's baby, and they troll all day on there just to cause crap. Basically, they don't know what they're talking about. Using this technology, we'll be able to push the price down at every manufacturer's level. This is what it's going to create. Pushing the price down. High-end cameras are expensive, folks. They cost a lot. You got to be serious into this hobby. If you want to do research, you need to get the top-notch gear. This technology is going to bring the price down so much that now people will be able to afford to have a camera that can do actually science with it. They'll be able to enjoy it as a live view. They'll be able to use it as a live imager. They will be able to use it in any way, shape, and form that they want. And the best part, you can use this on any telescopes. course, I don't have any of the dark field correction running yet. We certainly could go get one, and I'm going to show you the difference in noise. We'll have to do a couple of adjustments, and the beauty of it, I made some earlier, so we're going to import it. Here's a 12-bit that I did earlier, 10 seconds. Watch what's going to happen in the image. We're going to enable it. Now we're going to use the dark frame. Look at that. Did you see what happened? Take a look really, really closely, folks. I'm going to take it off. It's deactivated. This is the, you're going to see some of the hot pixels and warm pixels in the background, little red dots, green dots. Watch this when we activate the dark field correction that I already had banked up earlier. And you can save this on your hard drive permanently. Watch this. Watch what's going to happen. It automatically subtracts everything, and all you're left with is absolute beautiful star. Look at the bottom, NGC6207. This is zoom at the moment. We're going to unzoom this slowly. There you go. We're going to go back to the mode we were at. This is the full field of view, okay? Actually, Alistair, you're absolutely right. What you just said is exactly the result you're going to get. It's that easy, and that's the whole thing. You don't see any lines, you don't see any hogwash running through the screen or anything like this. You don't see the software crash, you don't see anything in that. That's because the electronics are done right. The software is done right, obviously. Here, allow me to take off the dark field correction. You see what I see now? You're going to start seeing a little bit of noise in the background, which is normal with all sensors. You're going to see a bunch of little warm pixels all over, green, red. I see them here on my screen. They're all over the place. I don't know if you guys see it, but I'm sure you do. Background's uneven a little bit. That's because earlier as well, that's what we're looking at. We're looking through clouds. So when you take a dark frame correction, dark field correction, well, you're going to even out your background. So let's re-engage it again. Watch what's going to happen to the image on the next refresh. And you can see at the bottom, the countdown timer of 10.5 seconds. Watch this, there you go. The background is absolutely perfect. Now here's the part that I like. Here's the part that I like. We're going to leave this at 10 seconds. And here's what we're going to do. We are going to leave the dark field correction, which is similar to dark frame, but it does more. We'll explain that another time. It'll take too long for that. Let's stick to what's going on here. Now that we got the dark field correction, you notice the background is much, much darker. But do you think we lost density a little bit in the signal? Do you think we lost a little bit of light collecting ability? My tool that I use right now is NGC6207 lower right, the galaxy. Now you get to change the value of the gamma. Look at that. You still got a nice dark, a little bit brighter background, and you get to pull out a lot more stars with no hot pixels, no warm pixels, and no end glow. Now the galaxy really comes out. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if we see colors in there. I know the 16-inch I did. Let's lower it back down a little bit, that gamma. Close down, and we're going to turn the histogram section on.
We just want to see her run.
Oh, okay. You got to look at the general picture and look on the left, the screen. It's unfortunate that I got a slow internet. Nonetheless, try to catch up a little bit and see what's happening. The histogram at the moment, I hope you guys can see the histogram lower left of the screen, and the left is set at 0 and the right at 78. Now, the higher you're going to put, the lower you're going to put that value, the more noise you're going to develop. Now, we can change that. If you put the value down at about 59 instead of, man, you're going to get a lot of noise. You're going to get a lot of gain. Watch the next refresh. Look at that. And yet, the dark field correction still keeps the noise down, still keeps the anglo down, and still keeps all the hot pixels and the warm pixels down. And we still have not touched our 10-second exposures. This is how well the dark field correction works. Now, one of the reasons I'm showing this is to show you the versatility of the sensor. We haven't touched the gain. The gain's all the way up. When you put the gain up on a sensor, whatever it's a CCD or a CMOS, man, you get a ton of noise. And this is the number one thing on Cloudy Nuts they're going to talk about. Oh, no, you had too much gain. You're going to get a lot of noise. Yep, you do. But if you built the electronic right, if you use high-grade sensors, that noise is reduced by 70% right off the bat. So we got 30% to play with to give extra gain. And this is what we have implemented in every single camera that we make, especially this guy here. Yeah, we're going to go back at 100 or so, or I think we were at 70 on the histogram earlier. Yeah, there you go. This is nice. Now, let's go back. We're going to take off the dark field correction. I know there's a lag. Just bear with me here. If you want me to talk slower, I'll do so. Oh, all right. There we go. Here, we're going to take the dark field correction. It's still 10-second exposure, folks. We haven't touched exposures, and we're able to get a brighter image, go deeper image without touching the exposure. Have you ever heard of that before? Here, I'm going to take the dark field correction. Hopefully that, now you see the noise. Now you see the warm pixels, and now you see the little red dots and green dots. These are warm and hot pixels. They're very little because the pixels themselves are very small. They're nothing compared to the Exterminator or the DSC, for an example, where you're talking 8 and 9 microns pixel size. This is 3.8 by 3.8, so they're going to look much, much smaller, and they are spread out in a much larger area, a physical area. So 17 seconds delay, Alistair. Sorry about that. It's my internet upload. It sucks. I have to admit it's slow DSL out here, and I'm very disappointed in that, and I'd like to apologize to everyone in that. If I would have a chance, I would take this internet and throw it in the Hudson River, but I'm not going to do that. I wouldn't want someone to have such lousy internet anywhere in the world. But pay attention properly here to the image. Now what we're going to do is re-engage again. Oh crap, I hit the wrong button. This is cool. It's getting pretty cold here, folks, tonight. So if I make a few mistakes, just bear with me. There you go. Here's the dark field correction is engaged, and this is photo quality right off the bat. And you want to know what the best part is? We could keep that. What do I mean? Watch. There's a button in the lower left of the screen that says snap and record. I'm going to use the snap. There you go. This is an actual picture that I just taken. So what we're seeing, you get to save it on the hard drive. Save as. Call it whatever you want. M13. Gee, I like that. Dark field, DSC corrected, and 10S for 10 seconds. And then we save it. It's BMP. It'll be fine. You don't have much loss at all in that. Once you do that, then you right-click and you close it. And you go back on the live portion of what you're looking at. You could do batch imaging like that. You could tell the software, okay, I want you to grab 100 of those images. And you could stack them later, or you could use the software to stack them if you want. But what will be the point? One good single frame will give you, and low noise frame, or image frame, I should call it, will give you excellent results. And if somebody wants to practice their ability to do a little bit of image processing, just imagine how much better this is going to come out. It's already pretty well the best that we could get. If somebody takes the time and do a bit of processing, even practice doing processing, that's the way to do it. You don't need to buy expensive software. You don't need to buy an expensive camera, because now you have one that's affordable and it's high performance just as much, if not better, than a high-end one that costs 10 times the amount of money. Yeah, you can do that too. I mean, you could do that too, Jack. You're absolutely right. You go to the capture tab and you can tell, all right, grab an image every so and so seconds or a minute or whatever that you want. You set it up. Here it is there. Capture image, auto capture. I mean, I would have to spend several evenings to explain the software here. I think the instruction book tells you that very, very well as it is. But my point tonight is to show you and to prove different than what I recently heard from other people saying, oh, those 16 megapixel, they're no good for EAA, they're no good. Guys, they don't know what they're doing. They've got the wrong camera. It's plain and simple. That's the only explanation there is. The most logical explanation is they've never tried a 16 megapixel, a real 16 megapixel with the proper 16 megapixel sensor in it. Not the beige type, the plate type that use diffraction. It separates the red, greens, and the blue, and it falls on a monochrome. Now the thing is this, you need one heck of a good processor to process that information, and this is where this camera shines. We have to spend a great deal of money and research into this to find out which processor is going to do the job to process every color as fast as if it would be a Bayer color type of sensor. Don't forget, you're not losing any sensitivity using this sensor. I'm just hoping that other companies will come out with a sensor like that. Whatever it's Sony, Kodak, you name it, Andor even. Andor uses a different system. They're high end. You're talking 10 grand just for a sensor. I mean, this is out of our range. You know, this is totally out of our range. What I had in mind is to get something that's affordable for most people. And it's a big frame camera. It's a large sensor camera that you'll be able to keep for a long, long time. And it'll give you the best chance to practice to do imaging as much as doing live viewing and video mode. You could record with it. You could snap away with it. The sensor is going to take it. Whatever that you feed it, it's going to take it. Yes, it will. It certainly will work on the Hyperstar system. I don't have a Hyperstar system, but I tell you, Jack, I can't wait for you to try it. And we've got all the sensors that are on their way right now, and all we need to do is drop the sensors on those boards, assemble the cameras, and we're good to go. The electronics are already done. Everything is done. And all we need to do is wait for those sensors to come in. The Mako Vicon sensor is revolutionizing. The company that makes it is Panasonic, and they've got several patents on it. So we're not going to see any company to come out with this. They were smart to put a patent on it. I know they're going to offer other sizes later. I know they got the black and white available, and we already ordered a handful of them to give it a try with the black and white. That way, we will be able to do a live comparison on nsnlive.ca between the color and the black and white as far as sensitivity is concerned. That I can't wait. The camera here right now works on reverse USB 2. However, when you use the zoom or other features like that, you're going to get a little bit of lags, you're going to get a little bit of issues. It's best to use it on USB 3. That's another thing. If you go look on Cloudy Nuts, or Cloudy Clowns, or whatever you want to call it, people talk about USB 3. That's got to be it. It's got to be it. You know what? The truth is not everyone has USB 3. I know tons of people that own high-end computers, laptops of all sorts. They still use USB 2. Not all USB 3s are available out there. They are a lot more expensive. And yet many cameras, manufacturers of cameras are going into USB 3. For a camera, it's a good thing because you don't bottleneck the data through the USB port. However, how nice it is to have a camera that's USB 3 and you get to use it on USB 2 reversed. So if you got a USB 2 computer, you'll be able to use the camera. You'll be able to take pictures. You'll be able to run it on 12-bit operation. Yes, it's going to run a little bit slow, a wee bit. I'm talking about fractions of seconds, probably half a second at most, slower. But you're still going to be able to use it on your older computer, and that's the beauty of it. It's one size fits all. A USB 2 or USB 3, it'll work. It prefers USB 3, obviously. The data flow is a lot quicker, a lot faster. Now, Doug, I know that you've got a DS2.3 Plus on your Hyperstar. The 2.3 Plus has a 13.4 millimeter diagonal sensor. This guy here has a 22 millimeter. It's quite big. A little bit smaller than the MallinCam Universe, which has a giant sensor in there. And it's a blend of right between of both of them. And the camera body is the exact same one as the SkyRaider 2.3 Plus. Same body with the exception of the front, it's T-mount. This camera is going to come with a 1.25-inch adapter, T-mount, and also a 2-inch adapter, T-mounted. And I noticed some companies only offer a lousy 2-meter, that's 6 feet long USB cable. What in the heck are you supposed to do with a 2-meter long USB cable? I know for a fact it sucks, and it's cheap, and it's low cost. And they break down often. We offer a 15.5 feet, 5-meter USB cable with all our USB cameras, including the SkyRaider DS16c. And believe it or not, at that length, it works. That means efficiency. It means the electronics are very efficient in it. Well, you cannot connect them in series. You can't. The maximum length for USB Alistair is 15 feet. So you're going to need to use a powered hub or a powered extension that you can do. Now, what I'd like to do is we're going to stop this, go back to 2-second exposure, and we're going to choose another target. I don't know if it's up yet. I'm going to stop also the dark field correction for a moment. So don't mind the image getting a little bit uglier. And I need to go back at 2-second exposure for one single purpose, and it's to allow me to center the camera on the next target that we're going to go for. Now, watch this. Here's a little quick experiment while we're doing this. 2-second exposure now. We still see that quite well. We still see M13 quite well. Here's the thing that you can do to increase, because it is so low noise. Okay? Look at the bottom of the screen on the right-hand side. Just change the gamma setting at 2-second exposures, and you still get that NGC 6207. I don't know if you guys see it, but I sure see it. This is 2-second exposure, just by changing the gamma. Wow. Now, how's that? Well, that's because the low noise we have in the camera, the low noise of the sensor allow us to go beyond what a gamma could do, to go beyond what you should not do with a histogram, and we could still do it no problem. Here, we're going to change a little bit the histogram. Watch what's going to happen. I see that little NGC 627 lower right. Yeah, with a little bit more noise, obviously, because we've got such a short exposure, but this is called video noise. You see it change every 2 seconds. This is incredible. At 2 seconds, you get to see NGC 6207. 2-second exposure. This is unheard of. Okay, I hope to be able to go for a target that I've been wanting to try out for a little while. And give me a couple of moments, folks. I'm just going to go to the mount, which is right behind me, and send it on the target that I want to get. And hopefully we'll be able to look at that. So please stand by for a moment. Give me a couple of minutes. I'm just going to get up there, turn the dome, send the scope on this specific target, and see what we're going to see. I'll be right back.